You are tuned in to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie. You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. I'm your host, Lance White. Tonight, we're treated to a rare radio interview with my guest, Ellias Lonsdale. Elias was introduced to star vision while traveling the communes of the late 1960s as Sonny Blue Boy. In the 1970s, he studied formal astrology with Mark Edmund Jones and astrosphere in the tradition of Rudolf Steiner. Over decades, he honed his craft before developing an esoteric school and training program in the beautiful Santa Cruz Mountains. He is credited with inspiring a generation of astrologers, including Mark Borax and Rob Brezhny. He's authored 4 books, including Inside Star Vision, Star Rhythms, Inside Planets, and Inside Degrees. And with his wife, Sarah Theana, he wrote Book of Theana in the Lands That Follow Death. Those are all listed on his bio that is up now. He presently lives in Hawaii, where we will be meeting him now, I hope. Hi, Elias. How are you?
Hi.
I'm just, I grew up in the 60s myself and was something of a flower child and experimented with all kinds of mind-altering substances. And I know that there are a lot of us still around that had that experience and felt that there was magic in the air. That magic seems to have disappeared. Would you like to share about what's going on during these times, or would you can go back and start out where the Star Vision all began? It's all up to you.
Well, I'm going to take a very brief springboard from the past into the now this way.
Okay.
What I feel most connected with in my life story and my biography, my destiny pattern, is that I was always finding myself in the right place at the right time to participate in very amazing things that were going on. It happened that way many, many times over. So I sort of had this front row seat on the 60s and early 70s. And ever since that time, I feel like I've had a front row seat on everything going on in the world. It's like I've been given this point of view. And way back then, it wasn't even a spiritual point of view. It wasn't that way. It was just consciousness. But these days, it's a spiritual point of view. And what I mean by a spiritual point of view is that I am thinking together with spirit beings. I am actually in communion with spirit forces. That's how I do things, but I'm not a channel in the strict sense. It's like I'm co-creative with beings who've died, who I'm very close with, like Theana, who is now called Hoti. And I'm connected with everybody from both the life side and the death side. It's kind of like I'm completely at home after death and completely at home in this world of the living. And I'm about bringing those worlds together in the best possible sense. And then all of my star genesis is really kind of an elaboration of that path, because I've just been learning through tuning in. I've been tuning in for over 25 years, although initially to beings who were a little bit different than those I tune in with mostly now. But nonetheless, I've been tuning in for over 25 years, and this has been the current of my life that has set the tone for everything. It's been my touchstone. So it's a very spiritual path in that way. It's aligned with spiritual forces. And way back, it was more like just being, alive to the pulse of the time. So it's like that, only a lot more so when your spirit viewed in an all-encompassing way, not a religious doctrine or something, but you're just enveloped in a spiritual field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that this period of time that we're in, so many people talk about the Great Shift or a leap into galactic consciousness, or the Earth ascending to higher dimensions? Do the spirits that you speak with, do you feel that we're headed in a direction of a reunion with those realms, that the veils are thinning, or what is happening? It seems like there's a lot of different directions at the same time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's at least 4 contradictory worlds commonly making up what everybody's experience is. Mm-hmm. And for instance, the outermost world of those 4, the really outer physical world, is just freaking out all the time, not only in the political arena or something like that, but our own bodies. Everybody's bodies these days are freaking out. Everybody's in this, you know what I mean? It's like none of us are quite healthy enough and sound enough to survive the times, if you know what I mean. It's like it's such an overwhelming experience. So on the outside, we're all kind of a little bit like invalids trying to keep it going, no matter who we are.
Yes.
And well said. And then on the etheric level, on the subtle life level, oddly enough, the very same things that are so impossible on an outer level are actually what we're drinking and eating and being nourished and sustained by. That's how the etheric works. So what's happening is the very world that's impossible for us to navigate through outwardly physically is etherically revitalizing us, paradoxically, because we needed to have a very big dosage of what our own creations generate without spirit forces involved. So we would get the lesson that we also learned in Atlantis, which is if you go it alone without spirit forces, you blow it. Mm-hmm. But this time we get to learn that lesson before we destroy everything. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're awfully close, aren't we?
Yes, but the etheric knows how to resiliently weave through fairy realms, fairy beings, to resiliently weave this physical catastrophe that we're endlessly in on all levels into a kind of etheric new life. There's a new planet being birthed, and that's a huge thing to talk about. But what I see is that the outer physical earth we're familiar with, even in our own bodies, is dying. And that this new body has to emerge from it, kind of a vibrant life body. And it sounds at first like a pipe dream or something incredible, but it really is what's going on. It's just going on in slow motion. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing, that's the etheric level, the astral level. On the astral level, the soul level, people are in the most maxed out karmic soul dramas they could possibly be in. Their karma is wanting to kind of burn itself out all at once. That's what's actually going on with people. If you ever wonder why people are dealing with so much, it's that their karmic urgency has speeded up. They want to work it all out fast, because they know that the world's going to change so much that they won't be able to work out their karma in the world we're going to be in. So this is an unconscious soul instinct in human beings, is when it's at the end of a cycle, work out your karma fast. So people are really putting themselves through it. If you follow what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. That makes perfect sense. And
so that's the soul level. And then the spirit level, just to briefly say it, the spirit level is kind of esoteric a bit, but let's just say on the spirit level, there's a sense of complete embrace of the whole of Earth's existence and that all will be well. And as far as the radical New Age vision of the shift into the new octave of the planet, I think in a slightly earthier way, I think that is what's happening.
Interesting. Of course, there are a lot of people who are talking about this, and I personally sense it around me constantly living in the country, and I've been feeling this sense of the earth dying and my body dying, but also being more in tune with subtle realms and living multidimensionally.
Yeah.
And there's just kind of the beginning or dawning of an awareness that there is something else just around me, kind of like an information field that's informing and guiding and so on.
An information field is what it is. Viewing it very simply and straightforwardly, that's what it is.
Now, does the date of 2012 have any bearing whatsoever on this process that we're in?
About once a season, at the beginning phases of that season, which can last between a few days and a couple of weeks, each season's a little bit different. But each season now that's happening, starting the season we're in, the spring of 2011, is like a mini 2012 event. In the winter solstices and summer solstices and autumn equinoxes and spring equinoxes, but also, as you can tell by recent events, it goes quite a bit into the beginning of that season now. Like this whole time in spring that we've been in the last weeks, we are essentially in this immensely accelerated space. Collectively, I mean, for better and for worse, it's all happening much faster.
Yeah, no kidding.
Suddenly, and you can point to Japan, and you can point to lots of things if you like, but it is happening. Whatever you want to make of it. Entropy is faster. In a dream of mine recently, it was said entropy is there, and then counter-entropy is there, that the spiritual forces work as counter-entropy. And so entropy is speeding up, and so is counter-entropy. Counter-entropy allows us to live almost an everlasting life or an immortal life within the physical world, which is all of our destinies eventually. To combine life and death in life, you won't even have to die, because you'll be living death through your life, and you'll be incorporating both into each other.
It's so strange that you should say that, because for some reason, I've had that feeling for a long time that there